Even when we design our courses to promote the most honest and responsible work, we might confront students' lapses in academic integrity. As we noted in Module 2, some students make dishonest choices when they feel a lack of confidence in their success with the subject matter. It's also possible for students to violate the code of conduct accidentally, especially when it comes to plagiarism and the use of copyrighted materials. When we address instances of academic dishonesty, it's especially important to communicate that we faculty are required to follow a specific process and that deviating from that process is itself a violation of academic ethics. Such communications demonstrate to students that an adjudication of an honor code violation is not a professor's personal retaliation against a student, it's a required process that has been approved by the university. When we suspect a violation of academic ethics, our first step should be to review Georgia Southern's academic dishonesty policy to verify that a violation has occurred. That policy is available at the URL shown on the screen, and that policy is also linked from this workshop's Folio e-classroom. Because the entire policy is provided for us online, and because of time constraints, this video will not discuss all the specific clauses of the academic dishonesty policy. It's up to all faculty to read it carefully. This video outlines the basics of going through the resolution procedure. Do keep in mind that a hunch is not grounds for charging a student with an academic integrity violation. Hunches can often be incorrect, and we don't want to make incorrect accusations. Faculty should always have evidence of the academic integrity violation before initiating a resolution process. If a faculty member has evidence of an academic integrity violation, he or she should begin the process by submitting a report form through the Provost's office found at the URL shown at the top of this slide. It is also linked from this workshop's Folio e-classroom. Here's an image of the online form itself. Upon receiving this form, a representative in academic affairs will review the student's history and determine whether this report signals the student's first violation. When the review is complete, the Provost's office will communicate with the faculty member via email with instructions on how to proceed. The Provost's office prefers to get a response to the faculty member within 48 hours. The timing of the report, of course, will affect how quickly academic affairs can respond. The Provost's office usually receives higher volume of report forms during midterm and finals week. Therefore, the response might take a little longer during those times. Faculty may not issue a grade on the assignment in question until the resolution process is complete. If the academic integrity violation occurs at the end of the semester, it might be necessary to issue a course grade of I, or incomplete, until the matter is resolved. If the student has a record of prior academic dishonesty violations, then the only means of addressing the matter is through a formal resolution before the University Student Conduct Board. If the student challenges the charges, the adjudication will include a hearing before that board. The Student Conduct Board includes administrators, faculty, and students. For that reason, it might take some time to schedule and conduct the hearing. Again, if the resolution process takes place at the end of the term, it might be necessary to issue an incomplete grade until the matter is resolved. If the academic violation occurs at the end of finals week, it might be necessary to conduct the hearing at the beginning of the next term. The academic integrity policy applies to instruction regardless of modality, face-to-face, hybrid, and online. Should a violation of the policy occur in an online or hybrid course, the university has technologies available such as Zoom and Google Meet to conduct formal resolutions online. The academic dishonesty policy outlines the specific information involved in notifying the student, providing the student a student conduct advisor, investigating the charges, scheduling the hearing, and reporting the results. Once the investigation is complete, the investigator submits a final report to the Student Conduct Board with a recommended sanction. Possible sanctions are also outlined in the academic dishonesty policy. If the student charged with academic dishonesty has no prior sanctions, the provost's office will give the professor and student the option of conducting an informal resolution. The email will include the appropriate form for that process. In order for an informal resolution to take place, both the accusing professor and the accused student must agree to the findings and the sanctions. No student conduct board hearing is necessary, and often the informal resolutions take place during a one-to-one meeting between the student and professor, although either may invite an objective third party as an observer. Should a violation of the policy occur in an online or hybrid course, the university has technologies available such as Zoom or Google Meet to conduct the resolution online. The details of the informal resolution are outlined in the academic dishonesty policy, and faculty should read carefully the information about how much time students have to respond to informal resolutions. They can choose to reject that resolution and request a formal hearing. Should the student request a formal hearing, the professor may not issue a grade until the resolution process is closed. If the matter is not resolved before grades are due, then the professor should issue a grade of incomplete until the resolution process has ended. To ensure a fair resolution process and to protect the privacy of the students and faculty involved, the academic dishonesty policy outlines many details regarding notifications, sanctions, and appeals processes. Even after reading the policy, we might have questions about how to proceed. Faculty with questions should reach out to Associate Provost Donna Brooks at 912-344-2896 or at dbrooks@georgiasouthern.edu. Because we spend much time designing, delivering, and assessing our instruction, and because we work so hard to ensure students can meet learning outcomes, it's understandable to feel frustrated, even annoyed, when our students violate the academic integrity policy. Nevertheless, the resolution process will go more smoothly if we remember not to take the academic violation personally. When addressing the violation with students, whether they're found responsible or not, the outcome can be more productive if handled professionally and in the spirit of supporting student success. Avoid showing anger or resentment. It might help to remember that when students violate the academic integrity policy, they haven't done anything to us personally, they have only shortchanged themselves. Faculty should always remember that they are not in this process alone. This is not a conflict between one professor and one student. The academic dishonesty policy outlines a support system for the student, and faculty have their program directors, department chairs, and the provost's office to guide them through the process. Students often benefit from reminders that faculty are bound by the academic code of conduct as much as students. If students request exceptions to the policy or an alternate means of resolving the issue, we should simply reply that to veer from the procedures in the academic dishonesty policy would be in violation of that policy and would damage our relationship with our employer. Finally, depending on the type of infraction and the number of students involved, the adjudication process can be complex. Therefore, it will be wise to keep documentation of the violation, of communications with students in the provost's office, and of the details of each step of the process. That way, if the student is ever confused about the process or if there are differing perceptions of that process, the documentation will help clarify the matter.